Welcome to the latest Business Owners Sharing Solutions session. I'm Linda Brown with the Asheboro Randolph Chamber. And today, a face you probably recognize, Reynolds Lisk from Insurance Associates of the Triad. How you doing, Reynolds?
I'm doing great, Linda. I hope you are.
I'm doing good. Today, we're going to talk about something you know a lot about, which is insurance. And so many of the reference guides we've received and the checklists, one of the things you need to check off is talk to your insurance agent or talk to your insurance broker. And tell me a little bit about the kinds of things people should be concerned about or the kinds of questions you're getting right now.
Okay, yes, we're getting a lot of questions about different things. I think the primary question we've gotten has been commercial related about business interruption or loss of income insurance. That's been the number one request. I think I've gotten a number of emails about that, and I want to know if it's covered or not. But unfortunately, it was never a pandemic was not anticipated. We've not seen anything like this in my lifetime, and it's not figured into the rates. So most companies, most all companies that I know of at this point, are not going to cover loss of income or business interruption for the pandemic. I do anticipate in the future, because this has happened and it's something that needs to be addressed, I think people will be able to cover that for an additional premium, similar to what you do with terrorism insurance that was made available after 9/11 happened. So that's all insurance or all commercial insurance policies have that feature, make it available. You can accept it, reject it, and I would be surprised if the same thing doesn't happen with or does happen with the pandemic coverage.
So there is some good news, right, going on right now. Talk a little bit about the auto insurance.
Yes, there is some good news about this for personal lines and commercial customers too. In personal lines, there have been several insurance companies that have come out and they are going to reduce auto insurance premiums for individuals simply because they're not driving as much. They know that a lot of people lost their jobs, and this is creating financial hardship for millions of people. So they felt just basically as a goodwill gesture, and it's realistic to lower their insurance premiums during this time period because they're not driving as much. So they're going to get a credit. Some companies have come out and said, well, our credit, some what they're going to do, but they are going to lower their premiums. But it is on a company by company basis. So I would encourage people to call their agent to see if that's a possibility. And there will be some agents that will say, well, I'm not sure, I haven't heard anything, but I want people to know that it doesn't mean that their insurance company is not going to do something. So I hope that they'll all do it. For the ones that don't, it's going to be a really bad PR move.
Yeah.
So I expect that most people are going to participate in that.
Is another option, because of the financial hardship you mentioned. I know some people are calling their car, the company they have their car loans with.
Right.
And tell me about personal insurance. Can people switch from making an annual or semi-annual payment to monthly? Are insurance companies allowing that kind of thing?
Yes, and that's really not pandemic related. You can
Right.
change the pay plan at any time. So if you're paying on an annual or a semi-annual basis, you might want to consider going to a monthly payment. Now, most companies if you go monthly, you do that they want to set you up on a draft. So they're not billing each month for that. But that's something that I do. I spread it out over the year, and I just, my checking account is drafted each month, and it does help with cash flow.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So another thing that you had mentioned earlier when we spoke was that this could affect what you pay for workers' comp for businesses. So talk a little bit about that.
Okay, sure. Workers' comp, as you know, is based upon payroll. And anyone that has three or more employees is required by law to carry workers' comp insurance. When you take out a workers' comp policy, you basically estimate what your payroll is going to be for the year. And then at the end of that policy period or the end of the year, the company will audit what your payrolls were. And if you overestimated what your payrolls would be, you actually get some money back. But if you underestimated, you would actually have to pay more. So you pay exactly based upon the payroll that you had. Now, with the pandemic, there's so many businesses that aren't in business right now. They don't have payrolls. That's the bright spot of that is going to be is at the end of this year, the payrolls that they estimated will be way less than what they thought. And their premiums, their workers' comp premiums will be much lower. So I would recommend to people if you have a business and you have temporarily laid off your employees and you don't have payroll, once you get going again, before the policy period is up, contact your agent and actually reduce your payrolls at that time, and the company will gladly do so, and your premiums will be lower going forward. So I would encourage people to check with their agent and try to maximize that savings as soon as possible.
That's a great idea. You know, another thing you're a big champion about is a sense of community. And the Chamber's been calling all 800 plus of our members and kind of checking in with people to see how they're doing. And we've heard some really great stories. Talk a little bit about the kinds of things that we can do. I know everybody's trying to help each other, but talk a little bit about this feeling of community that you're so passionate about.
Well, it's, and I appreciate you bringing that up. It's something that I've been concerned about for a long time, and I've been in this business almost 40 years, and we make our living off of the community. We try to support the community in any way that we can. If we can buy something here, we buy it here. You know, there's so many people now that are shopping online or going out of town to buy things, and it's really crippled, particularly small communities. And I would encourage people that I know it's very convenient to buy online, and you know, if you can't find something here, you've got to go outside and buy it. But I would encourage people. You know, I've seen one encouraging thing is that there's been a lot of support for local restaurants and the takeout, and I think people have been going by and getting their lunch, getting their dinner and breakfast, and doing takeout and trying to help these restaurants out, keep them going. But I would encourage people to, that same thought is still valid after this whole thing is over. Our local merchants here are the people that support this community. We need to support them. And I would just encourage people to think about when they spend that dollar, try to spend it here in town, because it all comes back and it employs people, they pay taxes. It's a circle that we want to continue. And I hope people will have really maybe regained somewhat a sense of community and how important it is to do business where they live.
Well, you're exactly right. And every time somebody spends a dollar here, part of that sales tax goes back to the city and county, and that's what helps provide law enforcement and the fire department and ambulances and water, sewer, all the things that we need. And not to mention the businesses they spend the money at. I mean, how many different charitable causes or organizations does Insurance Associates, the Triad, contribute to during the year? And you think about all these small businesses that support youth baseball, youth sports, the Y, United Way, and CUOC, all the Partnership for Children, Communities and Schools, and you think about where the community would be if we didn't have those organizations. And so it's really important for people to try to shop right here and do whatever they can right here in Randolph County.
Yeah, we won't have a community. You can't have a community without those organizations, and it just terrifies me to think, not going all. I mean, Amazon's a great business, but Amazon doesn't buy ads in the program for the football programs or basketball programs or give money to United Way here. They just don't, and it's up to local businesses to do that.
Right, right. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time today, Reynolds. It's been good talking to you. I hope you guys are staying safe.
We are. Thank you, Linda. And one last point I wanted to bring up that I forgot to mention, that talking about workers' comp, the chamber has a great program through First Benefits, and you can call your agent. They've got if you're a chamber member, you get a 10% discount on the rates. We sell a lot of that. It's a great program. They've done a great job with it. They've kept the rates low, and with that 10% discount, it's even better. So I'd encourage people, contact their agent and check in on the chamber workers' comp program.
Thank you. I appreciate you mentioning that. Forgot all about it while we were talking. Well, again, thanks for your time, Reynolds, and you guys stay healthy over there, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon.
Okay, thank you, Linda. Stay safe.